Okay, time for another pepper update. The date is July 4th, 2015. That noise you're going to hear in the background is the racetrack that's just down the road from here, so just so you know. The peppers are doing really good overall. My orange tree hab there, let's see. Doing real well. I've been pruning the lower branching all the way up to where you see it at the top there. That's where I'm going to let it finally go ahead and keep branching out, but I've been pruning all the branching below that. I want a nice tall tree, nice tall trunk on it before it fills out at the top. There is, you can see it's got a bloom, well, it's got a bunch of blooms and buds up there. So, I'm sure those will set pretty soon. Next one here is my Kumari. This is the only pepper plant that I have that has not put out a pepper yet. As you can see, it's just got a zillion buds and blooms, but none of them have set yet, so we'll see. And a lot of people on the internet, they complain about leaves that look like this, you know, with black spots and, you know, and they're yellowish and all that, you know. I mean, it's even on the upper leaves, but you know, it's just normal stuff. People get all worked up over it thinking their plant's gonna die. It's, you know, peppers go through a lot of things and they just keep trucking. Nothing to worry about. My Yuba Tuba pepper is doing real well. I think this is probably about the first pepper that really put out pods. As you can see, here's one right here. It's got a bigger one down here. I'm sure another week or two those are going to start turning ripe. Those are pretty much full size, you can see here. Really neat looking pods. But nice tall plant too. My elephant ear, this is the one I got at that pepper conference thing, and it's doing real well too. It's got a bunch of peppers on it. These are supposed to get real big. Kind of like, they're sweet. They're supposed to be a sweet pepper, and they do look kind of like a bell pepper, but this plant definitely isn't a bell pepper. I mean, it's tall. It's as tall as the Yuba Tuba you can see right next to it. So, and then here's the first of my Carolina Reapers. Okay, it's got a few pods on it, and I'm kind of psyched about this because they're starting to look. They're looking pretty much like they should. They're still real young, you know. They're not very big at all, not even as big as a dime, but they're looking pretty close. Not a big stinger on them. I'm hoping that'll develop yet, but otherwise the overall shape is pretty good. So we'll see. There's a couple on there. There's probably some smaller ones too. And this is my other Carolina Reaper here. And this one just now started putting out peppers. Here's one. You can see one right here, and this has got the right shape too, even though it's super small yet. I think I had a little bit bigger one on here somewhere. I don't know. Well, I don't see it, but so I got two of them. They're both different seed sources, so hopefully one of them will grow some true classic pod shapes. This here is my yellow 7-pot brain strain, which is putting out some major peppers already. It was a real early producer, but I was getting kind of worried. If you look here, this is a nice big one, one of the first ones. You see this pod? That doesn't look anything like a brain strain. You know, that, I don't know what you would call it, and I was thinking this isn't it. But then I got this one back here. I mean, there's several See those? They don't look anything. They're a nice big pod right there. Doesn't look anything like a brain strain, but then I got this one here, and there's the big O stinger, and these pods should get nice and bumpy. There's not a whole lot of that going on yet, but that's closer to the shape I'm looking for. So we'll see how that goes. Up until that one, I was thinking I got something else going on, but we'll see. My red habanero, this put out a couple peppers real early, but they haven't done much since they got to the size they're at now. And there are a few more on here now, but you see this one here, that's about the size of a nickel or so, and that one's about the size of a dime. But now I've got a couple more up here. You see one there, one up here, and another one. Well, there's a bunch of them setting on there, so we'll see. Those should turn red when they get ripe. And here's my yellow boot Jolokia. So far I just got a few peppers on this. They're longer, and I gotta wait to see how they develop to make sure I got what I was hoping for here. So they're kind of longer than I expected. I expected them to be a little bit more unevenly shaped. We'll see though. And my favorite, the Twilight. It's coming on real strong. You can see all those purple pods on there. They first start out kind of a yellowish color when they're real small, and once they get bigger they start turning purple, and then they'll go to yellow and orange and red. So these purple ones will start turning in a week or so, and then I'll have all kinds of colors on here. But you can see plenty of buds and blooms on there, so that plant in another couple weeks, or another month probably, will really look cool. So now we'll go back and look at the Hungarian wax in the above ground garden. Okay, here we go. So these are my Hungarian wax peppers, and of course the two peperoncinis that I thought were Hungarian wax, but actually aren't. So they're doing fine. I picked several peppers off those already. They got more coming. I don't really care about them though. And then my Hungarian wax. This plant's doing real well. It's quite tall. These plants never do look real bushy and full like a lot of the other peppers, but they put out quite a bit of peppers. So, and here's one on this one so far, but you know, there's plenty of buds and blooms. Here's a smaller one, a little more stunted, but that's a little pepper there that'll set, and another nice bloom and good growth coming out, but it's kind of a stunted plant. Got a couple more back here. They're doing real well, but see, this one doesn't have any on it yet. And there's a ladybug on there. Cool. They natural enemies of the aphids, which like pepper plants, so glad he's there. Of course, that means I probably got aphids. So anyway, that plant's doing pretty well too. It's got one pepper set there and a bunch of blooms coming out. Then this one here was that pepper plant I was going to kind of experiment with by cutting the early pepper blooms and buds off, and I actually accidentally topped it. You can see where I topped it right there. But you know, according to the one that was basically the same size, this one, it's way behind. See the difference here? The one on the right's the normal one, and the one on the left here is the one I topped and pruned the buds and stuff. You can see it did set one so far, but it's got a ways to go. It's probably the smallest of the pepper plants. And this one's doing well. I don't see any peppers on it yet, but plenty of buds and blooms. So I'm thinking in another couple weeks I'm going to have a lot of peppers growing on these. And this one here, now you can see one decent sized pepper there. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 going on so far, but they're all pretty small. And these being, one way you can tell these are Hungarian wax peppers is you can see the peppers, the young ones, they always grow straight up until they get to a certain size. Then they usually start drooping down like this one. They get mixed up with banana peppers a lot, but banana peppers will start out growing downwards right from the beginning. That's one way to tell. This plant here, it's got several, 1, 2, 3 peppers on it already that I can see. It's doing well. It's got plenty of buds. I don't see a lot of blooms on it yet, but again, those will develop quick now. This one here, it's got like 3, looks like 3 good-sized ones and 1, 2 smaller ones there. Doing quite well. Plenty of blooms on it, more buds coming out. That's going to be a real productive plant, I think. So, and I guess that's it.